Hi there, friends. I am so excited to hang out with you today for live. I'm just going to let this take a little bit of time to let people find the live and get into the chat and such. So let us know you're here. And I'm just going to also get it pulled up on my phone real quick so that when I flip that camera around, I will be ready to see some comments as I create. Hope you guys are all having a fabulous week so far and a great Tuesday. Just busy over here, of course. So it looks like Lori has joined us. Hello, Lori. Thanks for jumping on with us today. Hi, Catherine and Dee. So happy to have you guys. All right, so we're going to be doing a little bit of ink blending today. Hi, Barb. Hi, Lori. A little bit of ink blending, a little bit of die cutting. We're going to take a look at a standalone die that is really pretty and maybe gets a little bit ignored from all of the beautiful stamps, stencils, and die combos that we have. So we're going to take a look at a couple of standalone dies today. It should be fun. All right, it looks like we are getting, people are finding us here. And hello, Heather. She is my partner in crime today. She's moderating. So she will be answering questions, hanging out with you guys in the comments. So like always, we will, if you're new, let us know. We love to know that people are new and hanging out with us. Hi, Kathy and Penny and Catherine and Heidi. Okay, looks like lots of people are finding us now. That's awesome. Okay, so for anyone that might be new here, we do give away a $15 gift card code at the end of the live. So all you have to do, there's a couple of things you can do. Of course, just comment, leave questions, just chat with us in the comments. I catch as many questions as I can, but upon watching the replay, I probably catch maybe 10% of the comments just because you can't always watch them while you're creating. So Heather does a great job of catching what I miss. But if for some reason a question didn't get answered, you can ask it again because it's probably just that both of us missed it. Anyway, so chat with us in the comments. Right underneath this video, there is an arrow with the word share next to it. You can also go ahead and share this to your Facebook page with a friend. You can share it in a crafting group if it's allowed. Just make sure that they allow that sort of thing. And then just come here and let us know in the comments that you shared, and that will act as an extra entry. Okay, so I think I've gone over all of those logistics. I think we have plenty of people joining in. Hello, Cindy and Dina, and just lots of people. Shuga Ray, I maybe didn't say that right. I apologize if I said it incorrectly. Thank you guys all for joining us. And Maria, welcome. She is a first-time watcher, so we're glad to have you here. Okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get my camera flipped around really quickly. So give me just a minute to get that done. Okay. And if you hear my husband in the background a little bit, he is downstairs, but he is also on a call. So hopefully he's not coming through too much, but if that's the case, that is what you are hearing. Okay, so I'm just going to let YouTube catch up with me to make sure that everything looks a-okay. Sorry, making just a slight adjustment here. Okay, perfect. Okay, all right, friends. So like I mentioned, today we are going to do a little bit of die cutting. We're going to do a little bit of ink blending. So we are going to use this beautiful standalone die called Floral Harmony that was released a couple months ago. I'm not completely sure the exact date it released. It's a cute little standalone die. It's a great price point. There were some really beautiful samples made with it when it released. Ones that come to mind were D. She created some really beautiful ones with striping underneath it. And then one where she painstakingly like colored or ink blended all of the little pieces. But we're going to take another look at it today and use it with a couple of other products. So if you took a look at the sneak peek image, you're going to notice I'm using a lot of the same colors from last week, and there is a purpose for that. I'm not just picking the same colors and over again. But if you remember, if you were here last week, I created this little frame, but where I only used the inner piece. And I really wanted to use it again with those pretty stripes. So I am going to use this frame, this ornate oval frame that I cut out last week, and we're going to use it up in a card. So I promise the next time I do a live, which should be next week, I will choose completely different colors, but bear with me today while we kind of stick with the same colors that I used last week. So let's go ahead and let's cut this die out and just see what it looks like die cut. And then we can get going with our card. All right. Glad you guys like that die. It's really cute. Hopefully my Gemini is not too loud. All right, so as you're going to see, when I take this away from the paper, there's all of these cute little insides in it. Oh, looks like I'm gonna have to kind of poke this out. Okay, so most of them stayed in the die. I am going to keep them, not that I will probably use the tiny ones, but I could foresee myself ink blending like the larger pieces and using them and doing that die cut inlaid thing or whatever that technique is called. I'm not going to do that today. I'm doing something different today, but I wanted just to show you all of these cute pieces you get. And I also want to get all of the little insides popped out so that the next time I go to use this die, it's ready to go and I don't have to pop them all out. So you've got all of these little goodies that came with that then are the insides of that beautiful die. Super fun. I am going to save these this time around. So I'm going to go ahead and put my die back in its packaging. And the way that I save these, you know, these ones are so small, I should probably grab like a little envelope for them. So I am going to grab just one of these little envelopes. I keep these whenever like I order something and, you know, like maybe a ink or something comes in these, and they're perfect for just putting the little insides in. Now, I probably will never, ever painstakingly add all of these little tiny pieces back into this, but those bigger flowers I think would be really fun on a different card. So we will save them for another day. And then the little pieces that I don't use can then just be tossed. But for now, I'll just keep them. Maybe they could make cute confetti or something in a shaker as well. And then I'll just take the little envelope and tuck it in the back of my packaging so that it's there for safekeeping until I want to use them again. So then we have this adorable little frame, and I am going to ink blend it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Post-it tape, on the back, and tape it down a little bit. And I'm sorry, I did all that die cutting and I'm a little bit behind on comments. So, but it looks like you guys are having fun. So I'm glad that you guys are enjoying the live so far. And I think I know what's there. That's what was bothering me. My camera got kind of cockeyed or tipped over a little bit. So I think that is what has been, there we go. That's what's been bothering me. Perfect. Okay, and no worries for people that are joining late. We're not too far in to this card at all. I've just basically die cut this piece out And we still got plenty to go. No matter what, though, if you want to catch it from the beginning, it will be available for replay not too long after the show ends. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just do some really simple ink blending on this. There's no rhyme or reason. We're just going to ink blend it in a few areas just to give it some color and to give those, you know, the areas where there's the cutout, just to give them a little bit more definition. So we're starting out with our favorite, Coral Reef. I promise, okay, I can't promise that I won't use Coral Reef next week, but I'll try not to reach for Coral Reef next week. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab some lemon whip and do that here on this side. And then we're gonna finish it up with some apricot ink. And I'm sorry, Heather, I know I'm kind of flying through these colors. I will be using them again, so don't worry if you don't get to all of them right this second. And then I'm gonna flip this a little bit so it's a little bit easier to ink blend. A little bit of the excess Coral Reef right there. And maybe the excess lemon in there. Okay, perfect. Oh, thank you, Annalise, on the compliment on our ink colors. And now we have this really beautiful oval with a pop of color in it. So we're going to set this aside. We will use it later to put the card together, but we're going to set this aside and we're going to go ahead and ink blend a background. So I thought that our Argyle layering stencil background would be perfect for peeking out from behind the rest of the elements of this card. So we are going to go ahead and get this background ink blended. Oh, Barb, I'm glad to hear that your bundle of inks arrived today. That's awesome. You know what? I need to flip those because this is the smoother side. And we like to ink blend on the smoothest side. All right, so as with most of our layering stencils, the stencils are numbered. There's only 2 in this one, so it's pretty easy to know which is which, but still they are numbered in case you needed it. And then there is an alignment notch in each corner. And this alignment notch aligns perfectly to a layer of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Just gotta grab my tape here real quick. I did not pull it out. And so it just makes it so when you go to layer these stencils one on top of the other, that they're always going to layer in the correct place. Ones like these would be fairly easy to do without those alignment guides, but some of our more intricate layering sets, or the ones with many more stencils included, those alignment guides are a must for aligning up those layers. It is still nice to have for panels like these because you just know that they're going to be correct. Oh, Lori, I'm glad that you are happy to see that I'm going to be using the Argyle stencil. It's a fun one. I do not use it enough, and I really should use it more because it's really a very subtle and beautiful background. And it looks like Jamie is on. Jamie Tomlin is my cousin, and I'm excited to have her here. And it looks like she just got her Pinkfresh order, so that's super exciting. Okay, someone's asking me what the tape is I'm using. This is just Delicate Surface Painter's tape by 3M, and I get it at just like a Home Depot. You can probably get it at any type of hardware store or like a Target or something like that. Okay, so we are going to ink blend the larger diamonds or whatever those are called in I should make sure that's clean, in Coral Reef, of course. I'm reaching for Coral Reef. And there is no like rhyme or reason to doing this. I'm just going to ink it up. The great thing about stencils is the ink will pool up against the sides of the stencil to give you variation in colors, and it, you know, you just get that nice look of depth pretty easily. There is no real rhyme or reason to doing it. So, and it just looks really beautiful. All right. Oh, Lori, I hope you get time to use your order sometime soon. Let's see. You actually can emboss with stencils if you want to. So I have a blender brush that is for embossing ink only, because embossing ink is super sticky. You'll want to make sure if you emboss with a stencil that before you tape your stencil down, just like you would if you were embossing with a stamp, you want to prep your background paper very generously with a powder tool. And then place your stencil and use a blending brush and whatever embossing ink you use, whether it's Versamark or I use the Wow Embossing slow drying embossing ink, and ink blend up the area with that embossing ink. Make sure you get it nice and nice good coverage, and then just proceed to cover it in embossing powder and heat set it like you normally would. All right, and as you can see, this is looking really bright. It's almost looking kind of red, but as you know, with dye inks, they are a little bit more bright and whoa when you first apply them, because they are sitting on top of the paper and they are going to start to sink into that cardstock and basically dye it. So in the end, this beautiful coral reef, while right now it's looking a little bit more red tone, it is going to soften and it's going to be much closer to this corally pink tone that is on the lid. All right, I feel good about that first layer. So we're going to go ahead and move this off. Now I just wiped it down with a dry microfiber cloth for now. After the live is over, I'll spritz a little bit of rubbing alcohol on it and clean it the rest of the way. What I love about rubbing alcohol, I just leave a little bottle on my desk. You can just spritz your stencil down, wipe it with a cloth, and then it dries instantly and it's ready to be used again. Okay. So let's go ahead and place stencil number 2, which are just the inside lines of that Argyle pattern. All right, and I don't think I need to remove that because it looks like it stayed pretty well aligned. And so for the top layer, I'm going to use Apricot again. I thought that these would look really, really good put together. And Christine, I think I just answered your question a minute ago, but I'll just go over it again real quick. Coral Reef, as once it dries and sinks into that paper, it is going to be more of this like coral pinky tone versus the red that it looks now. Lori asked if I would clean the stencil if I were using an embossing medium quickly. Yes, if I were using like an embossing paste or a glitter paste or anything like that, after I pulled the stencil up, I would immediately take it over to my kitchen sink and clean it with warm to hot water and likely some Dawn. You might need to also bring over like a stencil tool or an embossing tool and scrape some of the chunks off if they get a little bit dry. I hope that answered your question. Oh, I'm glad you guys are learning some tips. why we love to do this. It's nice to show people the little tips and tricks that we learn along the way. All right, this stencil is super easy to ink blend because there's not much to it. It's just a bunch of thin lines. So I think we're good. I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe it down so I don't get apricot ink all over me. And then it's about time for the reveal. Oh, thank you, Jenny. I'm glad you are loving this color combo. It's one of my faves too. I know I used it last week, so I will make sure next week at live I do a different color combo with you guys. Okay, so let's take a look at the beautiful Argyle. I love this. It is a little bright right now, and that always kind of freaks me out, but I have to remind myself that as the dye ink dries, it is going to soften and it's going to look a little bit creamier, and so I just have to keep reminding myself that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this panel die cut. Pardon me, I've got a little bit of allergies going on today, so if I'm a little sniffly, that is why. Okay, somewhere over here, I've got our essential stitched rectangles. This is probably one of our die sets that I reach for the most. We also have the diagonal stitched rectangles, but I tend to reach for just the standard stitched more often. I think it's just a little bit more of my style. I love them both, but I reach for this one more often. And this will just trim this panel down so that it will nest inside of an A2 sized card perfectly. And then it will also give it that perfect stitched detail and that nice perfect edge that only a die can give. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine real quick. Oh, hi, Penny. Thanks for joining us. Welcome. I'm glad that you found us. Excited to have you here for the first time. Ooh, that was loud. Yes, I'm going to echo what Heather said. I think somebody asked about complementary colors or matching colors. I highly suggest swatching your colors. You could make a swatch, you know, something like this so you can see all of the colors. But the other thing that you can do is you can take it apart and you can see if you feel like the colors might work together. So that's definitely a good way to know what your colors look like. And then you can also find a lot of beautiful mood boards and color mood boards on Pinterest that are also another really awesome way to find fun color combos that maybe you hadn't thought of. It's just a great jumping off place. Or, you know, find a card maker that you love on Instagram and emulate some of their combos. And after a while, you will start to come up with your own color combos. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and start kind of looking at what this card is going to look like when we go to put it together. Oh, maybe. I just noticed I did not do a very good job of scoring this card at the middle, so I'm just going to do that real quick. Okay, so that is going to pop up on there with some foam, and then this is going to go on top. And I know that right now it doesn't look like it will show up very well, but it will be better once this softens. And those stripes are also going to have another anchor point as well, so that will work. So then we're going to put a little bit of gold in here, and then we're going to have this into the middle. I'm just trying to right now figure out some placement for my sentiment. I want to use the My Favorite Thing to Say To stamp set. I just am trying to figure out what exactly I want to stamp it on. And I'm feeling like maybe just a little bit of vellum wrapped around these pieces. So we're probably going to have to do a little bit of assembling and then get that sentiment on there. Okay, so first things first, let's grab, I went ahead and I pre-die cut a couple more layers of the Floral Harmony die, and we're just going to go ahead and glue them together just to give this a little bit more depth and dimension. So this is just a glue pen. It's getting maybe just a little dry. I haven't used it a whole lot, it seems, recently, but it's how I like to stack paper on paper. You can also use liquid glue. That totally works as well. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I think I had that. There we go. Okay, so there's that. Do I feel like that gets enough? Yeah. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do with the sentiment is I think I'm going to stamp it on, or excuse me, I think I'm going to heat emboss it on some vellum and then wrap it around this card base. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And then that will pop up. Yeah, that'll be really pretty. Perfect. Oh, speaking of, oh, thank you. I just saw someone say, Suzanne, thank you. She just said, you are amazing, and I appreciate that. That's very, very sweet. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab some vellum. I think I maybe put it away, so give me just 1 second. And let me grab that really quickly. And a little chunk of it here. Okay, perfect. All right, so told you guys we wing it most of the time around here, and so I had just a very vague idea of what I wanted to do today. Mostly I wanted to use that beautiful ornate oval frame. Oh, Jamie, what I was saying, sorry, before I kind of lost my train of thought, that Argyle stencil is really, really great for making masculine cards. Just want to use them with a little bit more masculine colors than what I'm using today. So because this is on vellum, I can actually see the lines on the MISTI through the vellum, so it's easy to make sure it's nice and straight. Okay. I want to make sure that's down. Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and prep this real quick with some powder. Okay. I'm just trying to decide what color I want to emboss this in. So let me see this. It's going to kind of go over top of that. So probably just gold. Ooh, maybe white actually. Yep, let's emboss it in white. Perfect. All right, so let's ink it up. Get the sentiment done. Yes, as Heather, I think people are asking about restocks, and shipping is just really crazy right now and erratic, and things are coming, you know, partially here and there. So we are just patiently waiting for all of our restocks to come in so we can get inventory added back. So thanks for being patient with us. We're doing our best. Okay. Didn't halo. All right, I think we're good. I see that there is a little like hair in there that I have got to get out. I'm not completely sure where my tweezers are. Maybe I can get it with my fingers. Got it. Okay. Let's clean this guy off. Missy, that's funny. I'm assuming Daniel's fine. He must just be doing something else today. It's totally fine. Yay, so glad to see people's orders are starting to arrive. We're excited to see what you guys create with them. So if Instagram is your thing, be sure to share it with us. Oh, while I'm doing this, we can also chat about the fact that we have a new challenge up on our challenge blog. It's actually an anything goes challenge this month, so you can really do whatever you want to. So definitely check that out. Heather can maybe link that here in a minute, and you guys can check that out. So I'm going to heat set this real quick, so it might get loud for a minute. Perfect. So there's that. Someone's asking me if this is special vellum, and the answer to that is no. It's just normal vellum that you can get anywhere. Hi, Carissa. Thanks for joining us. I just happened to see you pop on. Anyway, back to our May challenge. It's an anything goes challenge. Hey, Daniel, we were just talking about you, wondering where you were at. Our May challenge is an anything goes challenge. We award two $50 gift card prizes for each challenge, one to a memory keeping entry and one to a card making entry. So it's always worth it to create something for the challenge and get it linked up. And then this month, we're actually doing something special. We are partnering with Cards for Kindness with scrapbook.com, and we're adding an additional $25 gift card code prize to that for those that share that they are sending in some cards for that good cause. So all of the links that you need for Cards for Kindness are on the challenge post, pardon me. And you can get all the details there. So there's a couple of different chances for card makers to win either a $50 or a $25 gift card code. So if you like to share and do all of that, definitely check it out. Okay, so I am going to adhere this down. And I'm going to need to keep something on it for a little bit just to make sure it attaches real well. So I think my vellum warps a tiny bit, but not enough for it to really be noticeable. So the thing you can make sure when you're heat embossing on vellum is always be moving your heat tool. You don't want it to be too close, and it doesn't take real long to melt embossing powder on vellum. It's pretty quick, so you definitely don't want to hold heat in one area for too long, because that probably will contribute to some warping. Okay, I just need to make sure, I just need to hold some pressure on this. So we'll just chat for a minute while I am making sure these adhere together. Sugar Ray is asking if the challenge is for Pinkfresh Studio products only, and the answer to that is yes. Your project needs to predominantly feature Pinkfresh Studio products. It's okay if you do use other products, but you do need to feature predominantly Pinkfresh on your project. Okay, hopefully that's had enough time to set. Okay. I love the thought of wrapping this around, but I want to make sure I don't take off any of the sentiment when I wrap it. Okay, I think we're good there. So when I wrap vellum around the side of things, when I make like what I guess would be considered like a belly band with vellum, I just like to attach it with a little bit of score tape. This is 1/8 inch score tape. And I'm just going to put it on the edges here. So once you get the release tape, you get this little strip of adhesive that when you adhere it down, it is super like strong. It's like super strong adhesive. So this thing is not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to once again check it out, make sure that I like how it looks, make sure it looks fairly straight. Make sure I'm once again not cutting off any part of the sentiment. And I don't want it to be like stretched taut to that, because I want it to have a little bit of clearance so that it pops a little bit off the back and allows you to be able to see the sentiment a little bit easier. Oh, looks like somebody came in a little late, and no worries about that. It will be available for replay shortly after we're done here. You guys are funny. It looks like you're having a blast in the comments. I love it. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of Cards for Kindness is looking for right this second, but I think they update the link fairly often. And that is, we've given all of the links to their Cards for Kindness page in our challenge post. So you can definitely get more info there. Okay, let's start to assemble this card a little bit. So I've got just a pink A2 size top folding card base that I pre-did. I have a piece of pre-done foam that I make myself with white craft foam and 5-inch score tape. And I'm going to pop up this beautiful Argyle background. And then we're going to add it to the card base. Thanks so much, Lori. Appreciate your kind comments. Okay. So there's that. So then we're going to go ahead and add this guy on there. So, like last week, I'm going to use these thin strips of foam tape. And like I mentioned last week, if you take all the release paper off, it's a little bit easier to curve the foam tape around curvy things like circles, or in this case, ovals. Alrighty, I need one more piece of this. Ugh, I can't seem to get that piece of foam to not stick to me. I am actually using a little bit of gold in the glitter paper here in the background. So you are getting a little bit of that warmth to go with these tones as well. It's just more of a peak, I guess. All right. So then let's go ahead and get this oval frame lined up, centered up. The great thing about the Argyle is you can actually find the center really easily, which is kind of nice. All right. Might have just heard my little Cocker Spaniel making some little ruckus out there. Okay. And the vellum is not fitting perfectly in there, but that's okay. We will make it work. Actually looks kind of cool. All right, so this one I think is going to be a tape runner. I don't love to use a tape runner just because I like to have a little bit of time, but we're just going to go for it because I think it's going to be the best option for really getting this piece stuck down in there. So hopefully I place it real well the first time around. If not, a little bit of imperfection is not a big deal. Okay. Thanks, Daniel. All right, get you in there. And let's really stick you down. And it's a little off, but that's okay. All right, so we have that piece. So one other thing that I pre-die cut and assembled was grabbing it here, this word beautiful from the Essentials Classic Words die set. It's a little redundant because it already says, pardon me, it's that heart of gold and stardust soul that makes you beautiful. But I thought this might be a fun addition, but I'm not sure. It might be a little too much as well. So I'm not sure if I'm going to add this or not. Might be kind of cool, just like tucked in there a little bit. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. And then we'll see if I decide to go ahead and add it here. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate your kind comments. It's funny, I'm looking at it over on the video onto my left to see what I think of it. I actually do kind of dig it. Okay, so someone thinks it's too much. I think I kind of like it. Okay, love it without, love it with. Let's see. All right, maybe I'll just use that on a matching card for it. Okay, so final step, let's add some jewels to it. Actually, I think this time around I'm going to add crystals to it. And I think the crystals, I think I used all of the different colored crystals. Whoa. But I think I'm actually going to just use some clear. Maybe not just clear. Maybe not. Rethink. Okay, let's go. Grab some pink here. Crystals flying everywhere. Pink, orange, and okay. There's just so little yellow that you can see that I might actually make yellow the main color here. I'm gonna put these up at the top and the bottom. Okay. And I'm trying to decide if I like the orange here or if I want to go with clear. Actually, I really like the orange. Okay. There are definitely a lot of lorries. Okay, I think I like that. Just like that. Thanks, Jamie. All right, jewel picker, glue. This is the Barely Arts Precision Craft Glue. It's got the nice, precision top and very little clogging so far. It's clogged a couple of times, but it's always been easy to clear out. So I will give it an A+ for that. And so when you put this glue underneath the crystals at first, it makes them look a little cloudy. You're not going to be able to see that here in my video, but I can see it. And so, but if you're ever using them and you notice that, never fear, as long as you are picking a glue that dries clear, your crystals will go back to that glorious, clear, beautiful shine. You just have to wait for the glue to dry. Oops. And nothing likes to glue down very well to glitter. So I'm gonna, to make sure this card sits for a while that glue dries. Okay. Oh, thanks guys. I'm glad that you like the addition of the crystals. I think they're a fun touch. Oops. Final couple of crystals here. Do a little bit of arranging. And then we are done with this card. Yeah, so the one, I think I've only gotten kind of one not bad clog, but just where it didn't want to push out any glue. And all I did was I took the tip off, which comes off really easily, and then I ran the pin through the other way a few times. So I would go back and forth to get it unclogged. So easy as that. And then when I put the pin back in each time, I also kind of rub it in and just make sure it's not sticking to anything in there. So hopefully that helps. Ooh, that little crystal got away from me here. Glad I saw that before it really stuck down. Okay, friends, that is my card for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks, Jamie. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get my camera flipped around and wait for Heather to pick the winner of today's $15 gift card code. Thank you, Amy. And Suzanne, I appreciate it. Okay. Let me get my settings right. All right. Here I am. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I had fun with you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this card. I'm glad we got to utilize that fun ornate oval frame that I didn't end up using, or I didn't use last week, that I'd stamped. So it's always fun using up those little bits that you create, but then you know, pick something else or whatever. So it's been fun. And so now we just wait until we find out who the winner is. Oh, look, it looks like we just announced it. Kathy K, congratulations. You have won today's $15 gift card code. So yay. Send an email to me. My email is leah@pinkfreshstudio.com. There's no H on the end of my name, so that's just LEA@pinkfreshstudio.com. So give me 2 to 3 days to answer your email because you'll get quite a few. All right, so congratulations to Kathy. Thank you all for joining me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. We will, just a reminder, we will not be doing Facebook Live on Thursday because we have another event going on for retailers that day. So we're canceling Facebook Live on Thursday, but there will be a craft hour on Saturday with a real special guest. So we will start sneaking and sharing that information soon. So be on the lookout in our Instagram stories and Jeff's Instagram stories and probably on our guests. All right, friends, I will see you next week. Bye.